Hello everybody, this is Toysareruss, and for this third-party figure showcase and review, we're going to be looking at Ironfactory's take on a samurai smokescreen figure. So in this video, we're going to compare him with his original Generation 1 self. We're going to also look and see how he compares to some other smokescreen figures which have been released in the Generations toy line, as well as seeing how he displays and looks with some other Ironfactory figures and other ones as well. And of course, we'll have a detailed look at him in both of his modes, the entire contents of the packaging, and indeed the box. But before we get started, I need to remind anybody who's not subscribed to the channel, if you'd like to hit that subscribe button for me now, please, because it really will help me out. And the other is to thank showz, and that's where this came from, and they got him to me quickly and safely. Right, now he does come packaged in robot mode, and I'm going to have a little bit of a moan in a second, but first and foremost, I want you to see the packaging because it is beautiful. You get the same sort of masterpiece quality boxes, even though these are only Legends scale sized figures, as in it's got a nice sheen, it feels really robust. You can see the robot mode, which we're going to have a look at in a second, and indeed there is the alternate mode, and he comes in a huge plastic box because, again, not licensed by Hasbro or Takara because he transforms. Robot mode there, the weapon which is in the back I'm going to show you in a second, and a big samurai blade. It also comes with 1, 2, 3 more sets of fists, which we'll have a look at, and a sheath for his sai. He's also got some stickers as well, which you can put in multiple languages by the looks of it on the vehicle if you wanted to. Now this is where these things, it's really hard because I like the fact that they've gone with the samurai, and I like the fact that it looks completely different. And do you know what? They're not too bad in either mode. It's just the transformation process, and it's not even super difficult. Now, I wasn't even going to buy this figure, and the reason why, if you've seen my review of the Prowl, Samurai Prowl on this channel, exactly the same. Beautiful looking figure. Transformation process, I'm just going to use the Prowls because I'm going to explain in a second. So the instructions aren't the greatest anyway, but the transformation process itself isn't too difficult. It's just the fact, and this is the gutting thing, because I thought they might have had a go at improving it since the Prowl, everything just pops off. I mean, you've got 1, 2, 3 multiple ball and socket joints. Now thankfully they're ball and socket and they just pop off and you can reattach them. However, again, if you watch the transformation process of the original owner of this mold, which was Prowl, it took me about 9 minutes to get it to and from, and that's just not fun. And that's what I always say about lots of third-party companies, and indeed, you know, anything that just isn't fun. I've got to be super honest with you. But the annoying thing is, you look at this and it's beautiful, it looks really nice bit of detail. These are extra accessories which you can of course attach, and the one that's missing from there is this part here as well. So I suppose if you're buying this on the secondary market and it doesn't have all the accessories, for alternate mode you are definitely going to need this, otherwise you've got a huge gaping hole in the back of your vehicle. Let me just see if I can take this out without everything popping out. It's so frustrating because, again, it's what I like about it, as I say, especially when you see the robot mode, it's like nothing you've never seen before. It's a bit like the Kang Toys take on the Dinobots. You can tell they're the Dinobots, but they look so different. Look at this, look how difficult this is. It shouldn't be this difficult. All I've done is just slid that in along a slider. It looks like it's going to pull the whole leg off. I suppose at least there's one thing to prove that that is robust. But yes, see, it did pop that out and you've just got to click it back in. So as I was saying, if you don't have the accessories, the alternate mode looks pretty awful, to be honest. I should pop it back in, but I'm going to keep that out. So of course it's nothing like the original, which that's a fair, it's not nothing like. You can tell that it's of course smokescreen, but of course the body of the car is completely different, is obviously what I was sort of trying to say. There's no rubber wheels either, and as I say, you can attach the other stickers if you did want to yourself, no problem. I've got an Ironfactory Leo Kaiser jet, which, funnily enough, Ironfactory's Leo Kaiser figures are fantastic. It's just these ones at the moment, the samurai ones, that I'm having a few issues with, but I'm being super honest. As I say, the annoying thing is that they do look good when you actually get them into robot mode. To be honest, each wheel's individually pinned, and yes, you can tell it's a robot when you look underneath. And to be fair, it does move about, not too bad, not as great as you'd like it to be. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to say about the alternate mode. It looks good. The robot mode looks far better. It's just an annoying factor that it's let down by, again, I'm going to put a link in the description for the Prowl transformation, because I'm not going to be showing it on this because it just takes too long and it's very frustrating. But there you go, that's the alternate mode. Let's come back at him and have a look at him in his robot mode. Okay then guys, we're back, and as you can see, he is in his robot mode, and as I said, you know, he looks so much better in this robot mode. And I'm going to probably say this a couple of times and you might get sick of me moaning, but thankfully enough, as I said, he does come packaged in his robot mode. Now, the transformation process I already mentioned, I'm not going to be doing. I'm going to put a link for the Prowl transformation process in the description. This guy is easily as bad. Now, I know you might ask, well, why did you buy this guy? Because I thought with him being a later use that they might have corrected it all. Now, there's no swearing on this channel anyway, so that's another and there's no, I don't really swear in real life much anyway, to be fair. In fact, hardly ever, but this was actually test the patience of a saint. It's insane. You might as well just pop everything off. If you have a look at these ankles inside there, can you see there's a couple? I mean, it's the most articulated ankle I've ever seen, but for that reason everything just pops off. You've got to do a thigh swivel as well when you do that, and again, for me, the thighs completely popped off. This comes out very, very easily as well. You've got a couple of choices. We'll have a look at that in a bit more detail, but again, I'm not going to bang on much more about the transformation. I'm just going to say it just makes it not fun. And again, the lucky thing is just buy it. And in this day and age, not all figures even have to transform. I mean, we've got these beautiful blockies figures, we've got YOLO Park, we've got everything else that just doesn't transform, and they look great on a shelf, so there's no reason why this can't either, especially with him being, I suppose, as aesthetically pleasing as he is. And what I mean by that is exactly that. It's like something you've never seen before. So I've not even put any of his decals on him, and I think he still looks great. I'm going to zoom in a bit more on him because he is quite small. In fact, that's too much, but because he is quite small, I'm going to zoom in just to give us a better representation of what he looks like. So you can swing the doors around. These again are on ball and sockets, on hinges, on everything. You can tuck them around. See, double ball and socket, in fact, in there. Everything's ball and socket. It's scary. And then we can attach that as well. But what I want to show you is the head sculpt, which is lovely. It will twist. It just gets hindered by this back part. No, there we go, all the way around, and you can look up and down as well, because again, ball and socket. You can take the arms, you can't get the full T, but if you have a look, see the black lever underneath, that moves up and down a bit as well, so you've got extra articulation. Again, ball and socket. Swivel underneath the bicep because it's on a ball and socket, and the flexion as well. The wrists will spin around, but you can replace the fists. You've got a waist swivel, which is, if you move everything out of the way, it is completely what's the word, it doesn't get hindered, it doesn't get in the way. Unrestricted, I think, is the word I was after. You can go all the way around, but as I say, you've just got to move everything out of the way, and it will, in fact, as you can see, do exactly that. Now, you can as well with this, and I think perhaps, again, it's up to yourselves. You can spin this around, or it just pops off, and it does normally just spin around, and you can fold it up. Let's just attach it back on and just get a bit more of the backpack out of the way. Turn the doors down, bring these out, make them look a little bit more like hip skirts. There's loads of options with it. As I say, it's superposable. You've got, as I say, all that there, all these ankles, you know, the way that you can put the feet. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. There is more articulation in this guy than what you would find in your standard deluxe figures. There just literally is. There's way more going on it, and sometimes it's a good thing. I think in this case it's a bad thing because it's hindered the overall bot for transformation, but it's positive on the fact, as I say, of how posable he will in fact be. And again, if you imagine him with all his decals on, etc., he looks great. And at the moment, this is as basic as he's gonna look. So what I mean by that is I've not given him any of his accessories, nothing at all. So if you remember, he's got a sheath, and he's got holes on either side of each thigh. I'm pretty sure this is a sai. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I'm sure Raphael had a sai in the Ninja Turtles. That's how I'm remembering what it is. Oh, I keep knocking it out. Let me just pop this in there anyway. It's probably because I'm just catching it, or I've just got it to stick. Stay there. Here's his sai, and of course you could sheath this up if you wanted to. Pop it on the side of his leg. That will just slot in there. I'll put it upside down. Of course I have, and I've got the door in the back hindering, but you can put it there. So again, we're starting to make use of some of the accessories. I'm going to take it off though, and what I'm about to say may sound completely stupid, but if you've seen my Retgar Super 7 Ultimate review on here, they've got fists and attachments which you can't hold the accessories in, believe it or not. So with this guy, I've already changed into the fists that he's going to be able to hold weapons with, so you can slot that into place. He's got open hands. These are the fists which don't have anything on them, which he had when we just took it out of the box. And then we've also got, this was the back of the vehicle, which you can see. You can then fold this down. Okay, granted, this isn't very samurai-esque, but it's just a giant weapon, which again will power him up and indeed make him look good. If I can just pop it in. If you can't pop it in, you can just, again, cheat. You can do something really simple. You can pop the hand off. You can put the fist over the weapon like so. Then all you've got to do is pop the little ball and socket back in. So let's just make sure that we can line this up. It's a little bit of a cheat way, but it also, you know, exactly cheats, makes it easier, makes it much easier to do that. And there's still even more that we can do. So if you remember, in alternate mode we had these which were in, now the UK term is a bonnet, I believe you call it a hood in America, but you know what I'm on about. These are in the front of the vehicle. Now you can fold this out and you've got two choices. You can either have the weapons coming further away from the head or going closer into the head. So you can see how it angles in. So I'm going to choose to go in closer to the head because I think it looks that little bit better. And now look at this, he's starting to look pretty spectacular. He really is. He looks great. And I imagine, funnily enough, if I'd have kept Prowl, putting him next to Prowl, he would have looked sensational as well. So you can definitely tell, obviously, that he is a smokescreen figure, just even though he's very, yeah, he's very unique. He's just a nice take on him. It's just different, rather than just, you know, your standard third-party company giving you just another version of another character that we know and love. They've done a different thing. They've took it on a different angle. So let's have a look how he looks and compares. So these are third-party to start off with. That's New Age and that's Magic Square. So again, these are what's known as legend scale figures. Now these as well have no metal in them, unlike the New Age, which has got some die cast. These haven't, so these are all plastic, and again that's reflected in the price. Now this is an Ironfactory's Kill Bison, so they scale absolutely perfect. If none of this means anything to you guys, and like me you mainly collect mainline figures, funnily enough, here's a little, oh, I'm just about to drop him. There's a core class Soundwave, which is about his height. So he's about a core class figure height. He's not as big. That's one of the smallest deluxe figures you can get. And as you can see, that is quite a bit bigger than him. So he's a very small figure. There's not much point bringing many others in, just to give you an idea. Zaron's a small deluxe figure and he's towering above him, and then that's just obviously an Optimus Prime missing link, but it's the Sentinel version, which again is twice his height. So if you collect mainline figures, he's about a core class sort of size height. He's a little bit smaller than Blockies even, so that gives you an idea, as I say, of just how big he is. There's not really much more to say. As I say, you can mess around with all these hands, mess around with all the poses. Once he's in position, he displays and he looks really quite good. It's just getting him into that position. So I'm not going to bang on about it anymore. As I say, I think for me it's just a little bit disappointing, and I perhaps thought they'd have fixed a mold, but again it just shows that, you know, with plastic degradation, mold degradation, etc., it's very common with whichever company you buy them from. So a great figure overall, aesthetically fantastic. Now again, if you're going to get in, which there's no reason for you not to, apart from the fact if you want to just constantly transform him, I wouldn't advise that. But in the meantime, he looks great. He'll look good on a shelf, especially with the other samurai themed figures they've been releasing. You guys let me know what you think in the comments anyway. Take care.